them to get back in the game.
Yeah,
We were
part
just
2 of
talking about
how easy
social
it is.
Sydney and how much coke's out there. So if you've got 3 kilos out there and you need someone to move it, I'll BM you all the way on, probably. Fucking hell, I need to start doing something to get some cash.
One of the show's most enduring and loyal fans.
Oh yeah.
CQ. Dear Glenn,
Oh, hi, Don.
I'm having
Happy Christmas to you.
I'm having difficulty deciding what annoys me most about this time of year. Perhaps you can help me.
I can always help you, TQ. I think very much like you, TQ.
Is it Christmas carols in shops?
They're fucking torture.
Women wearing festive season t-shirts and jewellery?
Doesn't bother me that much because I don't notice them.
Drunk fools at Christmas parties sucking up to their hideous workmates.
I've never been to a Christmas party, work party, but that would make me sick.
People covering houses, roofs, lawns with lights and displays.
Don't mind that too much. I like the colour and I like the intent of thinking they're happy.
Well, remember when you were out at Cherrybrook, was there much happening in the way of
Not
Christmas displays?
Not so much then. More so now.
It's more a recent phenomenon.
Yeah, it is a recent one. It's like the kids going around asking for lollies. What's that phenomenon? Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween, yeah.
So we had our things.
Yeah.
We had like cracker night,
yeah.
and then of course minorities come in because little Johnny from 15 suburbs away lost half a pinky, so everyone has to suffer. Well, little Johnny's probably a fucking retard, and who cares if he doesn't go half a pinky? He's only going to work in a factory anyway.
It's the way of the world. People driving the streets looking at that shit.
Not too dirty on that tin. I don't think it's that bad.
People wearing fake reindeer
It's
ears.
just you want to kill somebody. I completely agree with you there, Teeny.
And then the reindeer
Bonbons.
antlers on the car as well. You like those, don't you?
Well, that was one of our ex-associates. Dallas's favourite, hates the ears on the car. He didn't like that, Dalboy.
Bonbons.
Not dirty on bonbons.
The exorbitant amount of waste.
Got to agree with that.
People who talk about the true meaning of Christmas.
They just make me want to puke.
Parents insisting there's no harm in lying to their kids about Santa.
Been a big fan of Santa, Teen. Kids may as well learn about lying early because they'll spend the rest of their life lying like all of them.
Here's a big one. No racing and nothing being open on December the 25th.
Hard day to get through, I must admit. No, and a hard day, and especially if you're a bit one out, like you might be Teeny, or I'm sure you got some friends, like some friends. I don't know. Maybe you just think there's nothing to do. I understand that completely.
People who say they don't believe in God still celebrating Christmas.
I find that weird. I find that really weird too. It's an odd one.
Yeah, but aren't we just we're just saying it's a festival, and it just happens to have the name of the thing that is associated with God.
Christmas
it's
is
originally a pagan festival.
Yeah, it's indeed it's at the very bottom of winter in the Northern Hemisphere. So
Yeah.
it's like from now on things are going to get better.
Yeah.
And then the Christians hijacked it. The Queen's Christmas message.
I'm a bit of a fan of the Queen. I can't take that.
Christmas cards. It's hard not to bag the Queen. I mean, it's hard not to like the Queen. Isn't
She's
it?
like, you got like she can get to a race meeting. She keeps trotting on. I mean, they're talking about Charles being king 30 years ago. I don't think so, Charlie. I'm going to keep going. She bats on. I like people that bat on.
Christmas cards.
Not too dirty.
Christmas Day television.
I don't watch television on Christmas Day, so I wouldn't know. I'm usually full of drink somewhere. But look, I love those. They're all good theories, Teeny.
And
Love you, Tony.
before anyone calls me bar humbug, Grinch or Wowser, just consider how much I love punting and drinking, that I've had a sex change and only do the things I like doing. Does it really sound like I'm not a fun person?
No, it sounds like you're a good person.
Take a leaf out of my book, everyone. Stop buying gifts for other people. Stop buying and sending cards, and stop stressing about all the things that idiots stress about at this time of year. Catering for Christmas Day. What to buy for everyone. Accepting every fucking invite. If people judge you for not doing these things with them, then they're pretty fucking shallow. Tell your kids the truth. There's no Santa, no God, and they'll save you a fortune in presents attending all these events when you'd rather be doing something else. If you like golf and live near a golf course, go there on December the 25th and be the only one on the course all day like I used to at Karela Golf Course.
Geez, Teen is like me a lot. I used to do that too, Teen. I used to play at all the really nice golf courses on December 25th.
And that's
So
Teen
that's
Queen's
such a weird comment.
Christmas message for the year.
I understand there's a lot of hypocritical things about celebrating Christmas, but I love it. So, love giving presents, love drinking with my family and seeing maybe those distant relatives I haven't seen for a while.
See, that's
Kids,
another opinion.
Love the kids waking up in the morning so excited to see what presents they've got.
You haven't got kids, so what kids are you talking about?
my niece and nephew,
Nephew and
my
that.
mates' kids. You know,
Yep.
like we all sort of get together
I
and
wasn't
enjoy
bagging you
that
saying that.
experience.
I was just saying what kids you...
And me, because mum and dad still give me a Santa
Oh.
bag. They do.
What's it at $33 for no tips on stunning races?
You know what it's become these days? Just boxes of paper, pens, and pads. But I love those things.
That's right.
Yeah.
What, no socks and undies?
No socks and undies. I think the missus takes care of that now.
It's terrible when your parents are both gone, then you miss that sort of thing. It's weird. Like mum and dad have both been dead for
And we
ages.
have a tradition where we put our $2 and $1 coins in a tin and we open it on
Dave, you talk
Christmas
about
Day
this one.
and we count it all. Oh, it's just so much
On
fun.
a future rant, we'll get into the.
Can I come round and grab a handful of
the gourd rotting the tin story.
I'll tell you one story about the Christmas pudding. So, Mum used to boil coins and put them in the Christmas pudding. okay?
Sixpences, like the original sixpences?
No, I think we were in 20s and 50s. by
No,
this
no,
stage.
people used to use the sixpence.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
and what your families have kept those sixpences for the pudding for that day. You get a sixpence and
tradition.
then you give it back and someone will give you a $2
That's
coin.
not, oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's,
you
that's a
didn't
nice
know-
tradition.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I was talking about. Not like meaning you win 5 cents.
Well, I remember when I was 4 or 5 and I was Uncle Dave was there anyway, and I was eating my pudding and I found 50 cents and I was so excited. I held up my 50 cents and then Uncle Dave turned around and he turned back and he had an old grey nurse and he'd licked Christmas pudding all over the grey nurse and he turned to me and he says, "Gordo, there's $100 notes in the pudding. You should have saved it."
What a good man. All right, I'm going to email you from an interesting name, gentleman. Ben Dover. That can't be his name, can it?
No.
Well, that's not his name, is it? It can't be called
Of
Ben.
course. Oh, the people got interesting names like that, don't they, Glenn?
Ben Dover?
Dear panel, I love your show and I think it's as good as ever. I love the enthusiasm of Dallas, who always seem to be on heat, but Gordo is a great addition to the team.
Yeah, Dahlia, the fan out there.
I'm part of the biggest online sporting community, as Ray Winston calls it. For those who don't know about that, Ray Winston's an actor, English actor, that's been flogging Bet365 for the last 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
They were a lot better than the other corporates, but they seem to be far less competitive now. Recently, I've noticed really skinny place prices, but the thing that pisses me off most is the SP guarantee. An example, backing an $8 shot, the biggest online sporting community lay it at $9 at the jump. The SP is $7 at 120%, so the $8 is paid, and it's often a touch shorter than the tote. I'm based overseas and obviously not going to the track, but I can only ascertain that the Metro betting ring is a graveyard now on Saturdays outside the carnivals, and like attending a Kembla Saturday meeting 10 years ago. What are your thoughts? Cheers, Ben.
Well, it is a lot more disappointing than Saturday betting rings, but so what's he bagging?
No, he's saying, look, Bet365 are probably betting $9 that horse, and they're offering you an SP guarantee, but if the SP is less than what they're betting at the jump...
Oh, because they're talking about the on-course SP.
Yeah. So I think, I think if I was in the customer service department of Bet365, I would say the SP is what it is, or if we're better than the SP, you get what our SP was.
I don't think so, because you've made a mistake anyway, haven't you? So for me, it's just like when I've made a really bad mistake, I've only made a 20% mistake rather than a 50% mistake. So I still have a little bit of extra there.
Okay, so you're happy with the SP guarantee?
Well, so what I'm saying is, if the SP is a better price than the price I've taken, I've made a mistake.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? So what I'm saying is the mistake, if it actually isn't as bad as what it could have been, there's a little bit of security there.
Let's move
But for
on.
me, I'm not going to
Let's
make
get to
money
Mark
off
Ward.
that anyway, because
Oh,
they're
Mark
the ones
Ward.
where I've made a mistake. So.
Hi, fans. I just wanted to let everyone know out there that Gord's the greatest bloke in the world and the best jokes. That's nice from Mark Ward.
No, yeah, lovely.
What did Mark
Lovely.
really say?
Hi Mark, I listened with interest to your statement concerning possible excessive watering at Rose Hill last Saturday, means 2 Saturdays ago, because we didn't do a show last week. I have to agree strongly that too much water was put on the track. In summer in particular, tracks should start as a good form. I have the perspective on this as a punter, an owner and a trainer. Most horses will not perform to their optimum level on hard tracks and will most likely come out of the race with sore joints, shins, jarring up, etc., restricting their longevity and ability racing into their campaign. I only have to see horses I own and others my wife trains to see the patch-up work she does after horses run on rock-hard tracks. You can also look at the Steward's reports on days when the tracks are good and you will see many trainers and jockeys explaining to these stewards the horse didn't stretch or perform as expected on the firm going. After all, comparing humans to horses, would you prefer to walk/run exercise on a hard surface or a surface with some cushion or give in it? Last Saturday, I'm guessing you're saying the inside was off due to the excessive watering. I'd say it was probably more the wear and tear from previous meetings rather than watering. At any rate, you guys being punters would like to see good competitive racing with good sized fields and horses performing at their best, yet calling for tracks not to be watered actually produces the exact opposite.
I think it's a very good email. I mean, it's another point of view, and you know,
there's two schools of thought there at the moment.
Exactly, but how do you form a good argument against that email?
Well, you could say there's more scratchings on wet tracks than there are on dry tracks.
Yeah, I think the real problem with watering is that when you do get a shower,
yeah,
you know, the water doesn't run away because it's, you know, the track's already
filled up.
Yeah, but
then what do you say about if we leave it rock hard, then horses are breaking down and blah blah blah? I mean,
that's the nub of the argument. We need actually some academic evidence, because you've got trainers saying horses break down more on tracks with some give in them, and we've got other trainers like Kim saying that horses get injured are more likely to be injured on hard tracks. So I think the jury is out on actually which track produces more injuries. But I mean,
I'm surprised there hasn't been a study done on it, to be honest.
Well, who's going to commission? Who's going to pay for it?
You know, the Green Party.
The Green Party.
Well, every other minority group that makes decisions in racing.
Speaking of the Green Party, I just want to go to the last thing there, and I haven't heard much about this since this announcement was made 2 weeks ago. The trots are getting rid of the whip.
Yeah, it's a beauty, isn't it?
1 September 2017,
Yep.
Trots are getting rid of the whip.
Because of animal welfare.
So that means that everyone's gone. The whips are gone now.
We're in big problems.
So, but won't we just get used to the fact that different horses will be performing under the no whips?
Why have we got no whips?
Because, well, okay, the trots are attempting to gain some public approval by being...
Well, they've seen what happened to the greyhound races, and they thought we could be next in line.
So
I don't care.
Okay, 1 September 2017.
I only care because why? If the majority of people want whips and the minority don't want whips, why do the minority get the go?
Well, they're saying the majority of people don't want whips, meaning entire society. Obviously, the racing community, the majority will want whips, but the majority of the entirety of society don't want whips.
Like, if you talk to jockeys on thoroughbreds, they say that the whip is actually a tool, not just for making them go faster, but it's a safety thing as well. Like, they've got more control when they have a whip. Can they make the same argument in trot racing? I don't know enough about trot racing.
So it's kind of like when we had a billy cart, we had the thing and the rope, and we go down the hill, and then someone said you can't have the rope anymore, so we've got the billy cart going down the hill.
You reckon that?
Oh, it's no reins now.
Like
no reins racing.
Oh, you're still going along.
Yeah. Well, I wonder what they're going to, like, because they give it that too, don't they, to sharpen them up.
Yes.
So it can be banned as well.
Oh, it's interesting.
Anyway, the trots have made the breakthrough.
I did read something. This is my own email to the show. Oh, hi, Racing Rant. They love the show. That Glenn Pollitt, he's the fucking best, even though he says silly things. Those other two dicks are dicks. But anyway, now my email says, I don't know where I got that from. I fucking lost it. What was that horse the other day that competed at Canberra, ran second? It was on Friday night, Roble trained it, first race.
Yeah. And
what's it called?
Cuddle, not Cuddles, something.
Curdles or something.
Curdle, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So raced the other day. I don't know.
Canterbury Friday night, yeah.
Yeah.
Bjorn's horse won the race. Good fella. The horse you've been, the horse that you were keen on second start, third start, blah blah blah.
Anyway, go to that race and you do that horse's form, and you go, oh, look at that run at Canberra, blah blah. Yeah. Let's go to the Steward's report. So it's a 2-year-old having its first run in a race, and the stewards on that day said that it settled. Why did it settle back in the field like that? It's a 2-year-old. It's driven to Canberra, and they said we expect that horse will always race in that position.
Oh, they're mad, aren't they?
So you own a 2-year-old, and the stewards after one start are saying, "Oh, that horse better go back next start. You better keep riding it like that." I wish I was the owner of that 2-year-old that day when the stewards were trying to tell me that. It's a young horse learning to race.
Yeah.
And they're putting up, we've got it in this category already.
Well, it's like they say,
How does that work?
when a horse wins at 100 to 1, the stewards call them in and go, hey, explain the improvement here. We expect this horse to hold its form now.
Yeah.
You own a horse, so we're trying to get owners into racing, and you own a 2-year-old, you're down at Canberra, oh, Mr. Start, oh, damn. And they say, oh, now, you better ride like that. Well, actually, no, we might want to bounce forward next start because we might win. We might win the Golden Slipper.
Yeah.
But you want us to go back. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
the stewards have to sort of, get off the high horse a little bit, get back to the normality of just controlling racing, and when the second tier boys get down, the reserves, like the under 21s, go down to run the meeting at Canberra, just shut your fucking mouth and fucking
Let's have a stewards
behave.
ask you a question. Couldn't you just say, I don't know? Depends on what happens when the barrier's open. Couldn't your argument be that?
How can they tell you when you own a
No,
horse?
yeah.
It's a baby, it's learning to race.
Yeah.
I mean, for fuck's sake, how many 2-year-olds have we seen over the decades going to races? Like, Chris Waller 2-year-olds, it was like the first 6 months, everything was educational, which is fair enough, and punters knew that. The fucking horse got beaten. I was in my office, I was like mental, like, fucking there I am, just like, reading stewards reports about people standing over people after a horse had one run. I don't know how Roble put up with that. And everyone's so scared to say anything.
Well, they've got the ultimate power, that power over your license, over your livelihood.
Come on, anyone out there licensed has been stood over, send them a brief, take them to court.
Yeah.
See how you go. Ask the judge if you can go, oh look, here I am. I don't know anything about racing, boys, but you blokes are telling this bloke here that that's how that horse has to be ridden after one start? I don't think so.
Crazy, isn't it? Grant wrote in.
Oh, that was my email.
Hi, boys.
Cheers, I love the show, Glenn.
Here's another guy that loves the show. His name's Grant.
Fuck.
I've often heard Gord talk about only betting in the pointy end of the market. I was wondering what type of bets he plays here. Is it simply win/lay, or will he be dutching up a few to achieve more market coverage?
What is dutching up? I don't know what dutching means. Does that mean like combined?
Well, so a Dutch book is when you back 3 or 4 in the race, all to take out the same amount.
That's a
takeout.
I
I've
very,
never knew what it meant.
Takeouts.
well, I don't bet. I don't make a lot of bets. When I think I've got an edge, I like to bet as much as possible at the price I can get on, and normally you can get more money on the sharp end of the market, obviously, because it's more liquid in that particular end. And to be honest, you study all the bets you've made in your history. You should all be keeping track of them, and you notice where you actually make your most money, and you've got to aim your betting at where you're most profitable and when you seem to have an edge on the market, and that's my edge. And
Right,
I'd
but
say
we-
a lot of people in Sydney racing who are making money, that is their edge. If you're betting in Brisbane or Melbourne, you adjust your strategy. I know like quite a few guys down in Melbourne who bet in Melbourne and bet in Brisbane, and their Operas Mirandi is different to mine in Sydney. But if you notice, the bigger guys in Sydney tend to sort of operate in a similar fashion to me, because we do have the best horses, and the sharp end of the market seems to be where you can make the most money.
Yeah, there's the most action there. There's most supply there. But how many of them are you prepared to back? Like, are you prepared to say, well, here's two. There's only 2 chances here, and they're 3's on.
I did that for a couple of years, and I wasn't making a lot of money out of it. So no, I generally just
you went back to putting your
See,
opinion
but I
on.
might only have 3 bets in a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm different. Like a lot of guys out there want to turn over money on every race. It's what Glenn does. He just snips off little bits of value everywhere. Not my go. Don't make money doing that. So not interested. It's more about actually working out what makes money for you and doing it. I'm sure there's plenty of ways to do it. Well, Snowy backs things outside the market, doesn't he? A lot of the guys in Melbourne, it's about finding the $8-10 chances that are a good chance. In Brisbane, it's a similar thing. Stewie Davidson's one that just concentrates on the sharp end of the market in Sydney, doesn't he? So there's different ways to skin it, work out what works for you. Yeah.
Matt wrote in, hi Mark, love the show and the team. I want to get the team's thought of when doing the form. If a horse is dropping in distance 200 or more, how do you handle this horse? Automatic pen or look to other factors? Cheers.
People love the automatic pen.
Oh,
Don't they love the automatic pen? You brought that to the show. Well, that's you. Automatic
Well,
pen.
I think it's profitable and it also saves time as far as work's concerned.
Saving time's the best.
Yeah.
I was a big ticker of coming back in distance for a long time. I've got to say the last 5 years I've really started to get right away from it. I've found that horses are a lot flatter, and I think in general I tend to, in my more modern thought pattern, be against it.
It's no for me. The kind of trainers that I'm backing at that sharp end of the market generally have pretty consistent platforms for when their horses are trying, and 200 metres back in distance isn't one of those. So I'm penning them, but I'd have to ask Mark about the distance races, because 2400 back to 2200 metres, well, that's back in 200 metres. I mean, what does that mean?
I don't think that means much.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, so obviously,
No, because
it's a proportionate thing.
Yeah, that's
like
back 11%.
Yeah.
If it's 1600 back to 1300, it's like back 28%.
But obviously it's a function of how much time they've had off, isn't it, Glenn? It's like,
yeah, there's all.
but I
different-
mean, the fascinating thing is that, look, Gay staying at the same distance or Gay coming back in distance, you just can't stomach it all, can you?
unless they look really lovely and fresh like Fabrizio, and this horse is just lovely and relaxed.
But there's always exceptions to the rule, and one of them is, Mark's mentioned before, 1,000 metre form is 1,000 metre form.
Yeah.
So if a horse has gone up to 1,200 metres and not run that well, but all its good runs have been over 1,000 metres and it's back to 1,000 metres, then you don't pen it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's back to its peak distance, but on nearly every other occasion with me, it'd be a pen.
Nick A wrote in, boys,
What's his name? Nick Abernethy?
the past few weeks the problem
Nick Alphabet's his fucking name.
the past few weeks the problem of no punters at the track has come up on the show. If I can throw my opinion in, it is the clubs do not want punters to the track, because with all due respect, old Glenster will knock himself off in about 9 months and say Mark will be dead in 20 years. Okay. I'm 23 and my pop was a bookie from Goulburn.
He's got you going off at 70.
And he always said to me that racing was dying because no punters came to the track, and that was 10 years ago. But him and my dad, who worked for my pop, would tell of the days back in the 80s where bookies would carry tens of thousands to the track. But in 20 years, when I'm sitting in a pub at 43 years of age and someone asks me, Nick, what did people used to do at the track when they went to have a bet? I'll think back to 2016 and think of me and a couple of blokes sitting there at Goulburn on a Tuesday. And I'll say, mate, there was me and 2 blokes. It was a waste of time. Because in 20 years, everyone who remembers the old days will be gone, and it will be me telling blokes it was a waste of time. Hope that makes sense. Love the show. It will be a problem when...
It is a problem. But
when people that do remember the track being vibrant move on, because then there will be no... the vibrant track will, in anyone's living memory, will be the party days.
The problem with modern society, Mark, is the problem is it's the degradation of our morals. Now, I haven't got any morals.
Sounding like an old fogey, Glenn.
I'm
Remember
telling
when?
You, okay, the kids get to schools. They get to schoolies. Okay, the kids that go to schoolies. How many of them get on the gear? 90%?
Right.
Right, they all have a lick of the gear. They go off their heads. And what? They want to pick up a girl? They go on Tinder. She bangs within 3 minutes. So now you're 18, you're full of drugs every weekend, you're banging a different Sheila, you're completely going mad, you're partying, but you don't open the doors for women. Everything is just completely changed. So you don't have the brain capacity to go forward to learn how to wager. Because you learned how to wager when I was young because it was something exciting to do.
Yeah. To simplify that, people want it now, don't they?
It's
That's the
just
mentality.
different.
It's like,
Well, it goes back to the days of lopping up the
punting would be like doing a university degree, wouldn't you? You got to put years and years of work into it.
That's right. It's
And people aren't willing to do that.
Being
it's
gay,
potentially very deep.
being gay, you were in the closet because, oh my God, you liked boys and wanted to stick it in them. Now, they're on ads for banks with their children. Oh, here's this gay couple, Fred and Tom. They got their little
All right,
kids.
okay,
They've
so-
got a mortgage saver account. It's just all fucking
What are we
mad.
going to do about our broken society, Glenn?
No, wagering will just come to an end and people just go to the track. There'll be $5 punters and they'll hope and and they'll drink and then they'll get so full of drink and have that much gear in the toilet that they've picked up over there, and in the meantime horses went around.
Yeah. But look, you still observe a large segment of society. They're sitting in they're weekend warriors. You know, there's still a lot of people out there that like to bet on a Saturday. just that we don't have access to them.
You know, there's a lot of people go to the pub on a Friday afternoon. I was saying this to Glenn today. They were betting $50, $100. There was a group of 10, 15 blokes, and they were talking about horse racing all afternoon. You know, or I like Willie Pike in Western Australia.
Guys, that's
and all
why
that
we're
kind
on
of
the
stuff.
internet. Because
But you know what? These blokes who are turning over a bit of money and love their horse racing are betting into totalising pools.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
Like-
they're uneducated in that
Yeah,
respect.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, those guys in that pub should at least be putting it on with a corporate and getting SP or Best Hope. But they're putting into the New South Wales tab.
it's convenient because it's. I mean,
It's
the
the
tab,
green
the tab,
machines
the tab has the
Everyone
monopoly
has.
on.
Well, when I ask them about it, they always say to me, if I have a win, even though I'm not getting value, if I have a win, the cash goes home with me in the wallet. If I have money in a corporate account, I just bet it until I lose it. I never withdraw
okay.
it.
That's an interesting
Yeah.
concept because it doesn't exist then. The money doesn't
Yeah.
exist because it's in an account.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see what they're saying. It's not liquid for them.
yeah.
And that's why the corporate should have been pushing more for those credit card type cash cards that you can get the money
I
straight
think
out.
that was a great advertising campaign.
And then it sort of dropped off.
Yeah.
You know, you get back a winner, go out to dinner and swipe your Ladbrokes thing
yeah.
and pay for
You
dinner.
can still do
Yeah.
that, can't you?
But I don't.
Yeah, but they're not
much about it.
advertising it as much anymore.
Yeah, okay. Well, so look, Bigelow, the corporates there. Point of difference. You've just heard the story about the tab versus you. Get onto it.
Yeah.
Shane wrote in saying, guys, to Glenn in particular, was that para on Racing Retro standing behind the chief steward as he was being interviewed when the show aired last Sunday, 2 weeks ago? If so, he is now in a suit. Boy, have things changed since I was a Saturday racetrack regular.
I noticed this too.
I know. Look, it was Para, and you can see him talking himself. He's become a big internet star over it. It was funny watching Mr. Van Kester. Like, Mark is the ultimate brill cream boy, isn't he? He's just got that whole look down pat now. He just,
Do you remember when he used to work at the AJC?
as a younger bloke, yeah. But he's just got the whole look
No.
of like.
He and Ray Sultana.
He's almost like he could. I reckon he could have 6 months off. We could take out a blow up Mark Van Gestel or a cutout, and you wouldn't know the difference.
No.
He's a particularly nice bloke.
Yeah, he's a nice man.
He's a very nice bloke. Just happened to rule the wrong way with me.
Yeah.
But that was him, the chief steward. That's our chief steward, and will be, I would suggest, for the next 20 years. And that
that's-
was Para behind him, laughing and waving and talking to himself for most of the time. And he was in this kind of a suit. I wouldn't say it was Hugo fucking Boss, but that was Para. Yeah, he's still there, and
But that's one of those phenomenons, isn't it? It happens in other sports as well, where the outsider, the sort of left field character gets adopted. Well, I suppose even Tommy from Campbelltown was a bit like that, you know. Got a bit of a persona happening, and
the
all of a
bloke who
sudden,
used to punch for Balmain. Oh, you know, he used to fight.
Oh yeah, what's his name?
He did that. He died. He was in every game. Don't you remember him?
Oh yes.
anyway, they get adopted as
Yeah,
they
get
take
adopted
taken
by
to the mainstream,
Yeah.
like Para has been.
Yeah, he has.
There was a guy at all the Sydney Olympic Games in the old days. He had big Coke bottle glasses, and he'd stand and get the crowd yelling. It's just exactly
Right.
the same phenomenon.
Yeah, it is a phenomenon. It's great.
Now, Elizabeth Better, email Betty Better, $@hotmail.com.
Is that really a name, Elizabeth Better?
Betty Better is her name.
But is the second name really Better?
Dear fellow wagering enthusiasts, I'm not sure if my previous email was lost in cyberspace, but the crux of it was, based on reading an article about the FT, in the Financial Times about William Hill, that in the Anglo world at least, we've reached peak wagering in real terms for the 21st century. Consideration is taking place in the industry. New revenue cannot replace lost revenue fast enough. Consolidation, sorry, I should have said. And revenues are now going to flatline as regulators hone in on predatory tactics of wagering operators. How is this going to affect punters in horse racing? All the best, Betty.
Can you answer that? I'm still thinking about a name. Anyway,
I
fucking bend over, Betty. Are these people fair income?
They're keen viewers of the show.
I'm glad you specifically mentioned Anglo there because
Nothing like
wagering is going to be absolutely gigantic and far bigger in the next 100 years with the greater affluence and economic ability of China and maybe India as well. We're going to have a huge spike in turnover. And there's going to be plenty of money to be made out of it, but not from the Anglo world. It'll be from Asia.
Tim Williams, who's a keen fan of the show. Hats off to Gordo with the quaddie staking plan. I think he's talking about Melbourne a week ago. Flemington. Pure genius. Snoopy is still my nemesis. Lovely ride by Dunn, reminiscent of Peter Cook at his best.
I tell you, it's so funny, that situation, isn't it? Like, I stood out the winner in the fourth last and the third last, and they both got up, and I had field in the next two legs.
Yeah, God said go short in the go skinny in the early legs. Because people are looking to stay live, and so they tend to go wide in the early legs.
Just there might be a snippet of value in that.
Okay, and also you're out of your misery early too.
But what's funny is, so I got the first two up, and I've been in this situation before where I'm cheering on. Well, I've got the whole field, but I'm cheering on the longies, and the even money shot lobs, and then well, on this occasion, $31 in the third leg and $11 in the last leg. So it finally came off 6.
Yeah. Excellent.
Well, you ever seen a better quaddy dividend than Saturday? It's paid $63,000. The first leg was won by the favourite, Calendar.
Well, not the favourite, actually.
It did start favourite.
Nigel, who we met at the Racing Rant Christmas party, and
he's talking about Saturday week, isn't he?
Yeah, he was the man behind the saintly Horse from Heaven banner. One for Racing Rant. G'day guys. Tough day for me at Rose Hill. After being on top striker, multifacets and reincarnating in consecutive races, and all of them going under after looking likely to win at the 100, I was trying to work out what I had done wrong to deserve this. The pro punter quoted in punters.com Punters Bible says that on Tuesdays he has a session with his mental conditioning coach to work on mental processes for each betting session. Glenn, what do you think about this, or am I better off just taking it out with a wall?
Well, thanks Nigel. I've been taking it out with a wall for about 20 years now, and as you can even see today, I am like a complete mental mess. I have got massive issues. There's a chance I will not see Christmas. I am gone here. Maybe a mental conditioning coach will help. I find that the other thing that does help me is diving in the ocean.
Yeah, that's pretty good, diving in the ocean.
And I've done very little swimming this year because the summer's been pretty ordinary and I've missed out. And
maybe there could be another method of suicide. Sun rising behind the ocean and you
just swimming.
One glance. Yeah.
I would do that for sure, but I'm so petrified of sharks. Even though they would kill you, I just don't want to be bitten.
Sorry, is that what Jeff Buckley did? But in the Everglades?
It was a Mississippi River, wasn't it?
Didn't he just keep swimming?
I'm struggling today.
I know a bloke who did do it.
Anyway.
Right. Ian Devitt wrote in, hi guys, today's races, the 13th of the 12th, that was last Tuesday at Bairnsdale, and a bad fall in race 4. Both racing.com and Sky delete the video, no replay. They do the same at the start of races in that they show the barrier stalls until a horse goes off and then they move off. For F's sake, how sanitised do they want to be? We're all over 18 and surely we can handle whatever happens. Merry Christmas to you all. Regards, Ian.
You don't understand, Ian. We're not allowed to say that. I don't know why.
It's
ridiculous.
It's a bit sickening, isn't it?
But you can, you can't watch that, but you can flip over to YouPorn and see 3 Sheilas taking up the arse of 4 black blokes with dildos that big. But you can watch that. That might suit you.
You can't watch that on racing.com.
But I'm just saying, you can watch anything these days. You want to watch, Google fucking dwarf root rhinoceroses and something will pop up.
Right, a somewhat vexatious fan of the show, Paul Day, he wrote in on Wednesday saying Krusty and G, what was his name?
G Gray.
The horse that ran third. I think of Ronnie's in the same race.
Oh, Gracious Gray.
Go Gordo, Gracious Gray, go Gordo. And then on Saturday he signed up for the Mounting Yard Mail. He hasn't signed up for the Mounting Yard Mail for 2 months. And he said, Mounting Yard Mail, oh my God, shithouse, maybe you should contemplate the bus driver job.
Where was it down here?
Huh?
Where's that?
It was a bad day.
It was a bad day, mate.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah,
Tim Williams.
Job, never subscribe again. Oh, sorry, Paul. Fuck.
It's all right. He's an intimate. I think he's actually hoping that you have a bad day every time he subscribes, so he can go off.
No,
because he doesn't buy them every week.
Yeah, but I meant to be really well, and that Saturday was just terrible.
Yeah, whereas the week before was fantastic, so that happens. Tim Williams wrote in again, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but Fabrizio off a 7-week break into a mile at Randwick in the Villiers no less, and yes, I backed that burglar, Dibiani.
Yeah, it was hard.
He's a burglar, but he's a very consistent racehorse.
Wayne McGrath said, well done Mark, Sabino speed worth the wait, and how underrated is P. Wells.
Yeah,
does a good job.
Yeah.
So Sabino Speed's been my horse to follow for about 2 months. Craig Wood said, I hope Gordo has applied the UPF 50 plus to the Devonhead.
I'll tell you what, I was struggling on Saturday out there in the ring. I think I caught a bit of sun. Have I even got a little bit brown? Am I red or brown?
You're never brown.
I'm never brown, it's impossible. Maybe just a tinge?
Nope.
No.
I tell you, I was looking very red in the face on Saturday from mounting up. Nick Ashman, he had like this red. Was he just burnt? I don't know.
He's out there in the sun all the time.
I saw him last night. He didn't look bad.
Yeah, on where I was on Saturday, it was just. I think it was.
Yeah, on the day you can get burnt, those guys, but if you've got dark skin, I think it.
Yeah, okay, it just fixes itself. Gordo, do you want to take a listen to Martin Howard guy? He
No,
wants to have
read
a
him
shot at
out.
you.
Where is he?
He says, how does this Gordo bloke make a living from the punt?
Oh, yeah, well...
he is either clueless or tells Porky when chipping on the rant.
Well, as I say,
time.
I don't have many bets, and I don't need many of them to win to make a profit.
Look like you got a nice broad there, Martin. She looks a nice girl, doesn't she?
She looks a bit angry with him.
She
He's
looks
happy.
lovely. He looks alright.
Jay wrote in after Saturday, how can anyone concentrate with all those arseholes dribbling into the on-course PA? He's talking about what happens in the mounting yard.
I know.
No wonder no serious betters of the track anymore. By the way, Glenn and Gordo, keep up the great work. It's a thankless task, the effort you go to. I, for one, appreciate your hard work.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks, mate.
How long has that been going on where on Saturday there was Gavin from Sky and Nick Ashman, and they just keep blathering. It just goes on and on and on and on. And on. How long has that been going on for?
That's actually, they're two good ones to listen to.
Yeah, but how long?
We have like 6 ex-girl jockeys that talk about racing now.
And who's the Lizzie girl in the pink dress
I
that was
don't know, just
mounting yard?
I don't know who they all are.
Did you guys notice? I think a
China Masters.
A New Zealand female jockey died the other days again.
Yeah, it would have been 8 cabbies died. People die.
No, you.
Oh, hang on, I might not care here. Just be careful.
No.
I don't want to. Hang on, I'm heartbroken about
I'm
it.
talking about your stats on female jockeys being more likely to die.
Of course, they're more likely to die.
Well, I'm just saying there was another example in the weekend.
Yeah, I'm right again. But I don't want to make too much commentary about it. The New Zealand Board of Stewards will drag me over there for having something to do with it.
Hello,
Do you
guys.
know there's 15 bombs been let off at Aleppo since we started the show, and 400 kids are dead? Well, fuck. What are we supposed to do? Give a fuck? Just
No,
think
look,
fuck it's not
everything's
me.
inconsistent. I mean, you see the US representative at the UN having a go at Russia for Aleppo and what's going on in Syria right now, and it's like, well, what the fuck were you guys doing in Iraq? Or the fact, or what are you doing in?
Just everyone shut the
other
fuck up.
Like they're all
Relax.
bullshitting, but
Yeah, well, we had a taste of that at mediation the other day, didn't we? Hello, the inconsistency, I mean. Hello, guys, long-time viewer. Just a shout-out to your preview of Villiers Day. A few of those roughies you mentioned hit the line. Sense of Occasion, the Monstar and Sabino Speed. These helped me to win the Christmas Skins Day 2 tournament. Liking all the different angles the three of you see in the races. Keep up the good work. Cheers, Tote Crusher.
Oh, well done, Toe Crusher. So he must have done well in the Top Better tournaments, and even though we're not involved with Top Better anymore, the people seem to enjoy the tournaments, and I've got to say they have something to add to racing for sure.
John Wynn writes, huge BZ, Mark. What's BZ mean? Huge
Brent
buzz?
Zarafa?
Huge. For steering me into Sense of Occasion and Sabino Speed. Had my biggest day on the punt in a long time.
Great news, John.
Wouldn't look at either horse without a positive push from Mark. Please get yourself back on radio or TV. Cheers, John.
Yeah, you should be on radio and TV, mate.
We
You're
are
on radio.
We're on TV.
but you're on radio.
Well,
And
you
we're
do.
on radio as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
We're not really on TV. We're on the internet.
This is internet TV. This is the
The future. The future.
This is not the future.
Don't worry,
This
Glenn.
is the fucking end.
Glenn, those dinosaurs will die out that watch those, Channel 9 and Racing Retro and all those 60 Minutes and all those shows.
Well, to be honest, if they keep on
It's like how I
putting the people they're putting on, I wouldn't be surprised if people drop off.
Well,
Do you learn much? I like Adam Pengelly, Nick Ashman, Ron Duffy.
I think Nick's added something. With
You
a bit of
you could throw the rest of them away.
I think Nick's added for sure, but Nick's biggest problem is eventually he'll still be Nick some way, and they'll
He can't last in that environment.
He'll get
Well,
done
he's
for an
not-
inappropriate comment. or
No, but he's
something
just a
like
bit
that.
too clever for them. Like it's just not. That's not bland enough.
Look,
They
Ron
need to.
Duffy's lasted a long time.
Yeah, but he's really got a lot of public support.
Oh,
Dave
yeah,
Dolan.
yeah.
He's really been a public pin-up boy.
Yeah.
Even though he's a hot little rider, naughty little boy. But anyway, that's another story.
Have
Oh,
they-
bring
yeah,
me in.
but
Sue
have
me
you-
for
have you
yes.
seen that?
John Shrek, drag me in.
It is
Another-
Adam Pengelly, is it? Or
Yeah.
Is he Brad Pengelly's brother or something?
Oh, well,
No,
I
it's-
assume he had to be related to a
Pengelly.
jockey.
Spelt differently. There's an
Oh,
I in there
okay.
instead of an E.
Oh, I think he's got some interesting ideas. I don't mind listening to
It
him.
is a bit of a joke, though.
Okay, Glenn, you better talk us through what's happening with the RANT over Christmas.
Look, guys, we're having a break. Fuck knows we need it. Our next show is not going to be until the Friday preview show, the Saturday races, in 2.5 weeks. So
2017.
2017.
First Friday of 2017, we'll be back.
Yeah, the first Friday, and then the Monday RANT will follow that show. So we hope you all have a happy Christmas, as Teen Queen would say, and a safe New Year, whatever that fucking means. Everyone wants a safe New Year, but people get killed driving between Christmas and
More people, don't they? So all these good wishes aren't really working.
So, but Glenn will be doing Mounting Yard Mail for both public holidays, the 26th and the 2nd, as it turns out.
Yeah.
We're not racing on New Year's Day at Randwick, we're racing on New Year's Day holiday at Randwick. So,
and
you know, everything's for sale as usual,
And for-
and
and
I
for,
will be hopefully coming up with a bit of a staking plan to offer over the festive season.
for what's old mate's name here?
Paul Day?
Yeah, Paul, email Mark, okay? Mounting Yard Mail for you the Saturday, Monday for free. 4 meetings for free, because if you're only now and then and you fucking seem to run into me when it's a bad day, I feel bad about it. So, because all my other guys have been winning, even though everyone lost Saturday. So, Paul, just email Mark and we'll put you down for those 4 meetings. So,
Admin at racingrant.com will get
yeah,
you...
I'll get you that money back on Saturday. I feel bad. Saturday was just terrible, wasn't it? Fucking hell. Anyway.
yeah, but it's a losing meeting. You have to have... you have losing
I know,
meetings,
but he fucking... I don't want him to... I feel sick for him.
Oh, I know. We feel responsible. We actually do feel responsible for the tips that we
Nice.
give.
Of course we do. That's why we
But-
everything you're unhappy with, we always say money back and blah blah. I do every show for free, and
I-
hopefully we're here in 2017.
I started for a little while there caring more about what I'd said rather than what I'd backed.
Yeah, well,
And I thought that was so the wrong attitude.
Yeah, I know.
And and to the Racing New South Wales stewards, maybe no Christmas party this year. Maybe the money you're going to have the Christmas party, just collect it in cash and get Mr. Dingwall to deliver it to me on Wednesday at Warwick Farm. That'd be handy. Just something of how hardly done by I was. Completely, absolutely smashed. Disgusting, really.
Oh, we're going to have a lot to talk about after the holiday break. Jeez.
God.
Plenty. So, on deck as usual for each race meeting, but no show until the first Friday of 2017. And we'll have plenty to talk about on the RANT, which will be the show after that.
Right, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas,
Merry
boys.
Christmas.
Our first year.
There we go.
Hey, there it is.
There they are.
Voila, isn't it?
Voila.